taking a Vegas-style show and putting it in Los Angeles is a particularly difficult task because in magic, you can't really... You're not supposed to curse in magic, where in music, which is why I love it, and the military, you are allowed to curse because it's considered acceptable culture, but in the magic community, it's considered a unethical thing in the magic community, and if you do curse, make sure you do it at a comedy show, because if you do it at a corporate show, expect not to get invited back and expect to lose those 3 gigs that you're supposed to get from every single event. But cursing is acceptable in certain standards, not in front of children, but there are certain types where you can curse in front of an adult drinking audience at a party, especially if you've done a few performances for them in the past. Like if you've done 5 or 6 and you know them by first name, the rules of what is acceptable by then is a little bit different, in my opinion, because you've earned their trust. They know that you're not going to make anyone feel uncomfortable that you haven't met before. This personally comes from an experience that I had from some friends of mine that I went to Israel with about a year ago. And because I had known them for several weeks and we slept in the same rooms traveling, we kind of got to know each other extremely well. So I was able to make jokes that I would normally make at a dive bar, but I would not make at a 5-star establishment or in front of a bunch of family members or at a family event or a charity event. Because there are certain jokes that are acceptable for certain audiences because they're like your friends, that you're not doing a $1,000 corporate show for their company. That's a little bit different, obviously. But when you're doing it at someone's home and it's in their privacy, you can get away with a lot more jokes because you already more personalize them and because they trust you and because they are your friends at that point versus people that have never, ever been in the show before, that have never seen you perform. This may be acceptable if they're in the audience, but I would not recommend doing that if they are on stage with you for the very first time. The most important thing is you don't want to alienate them because people won't always necessarily remember the magic that you did for them, but they will always remember how you made them feel. So make sure when they're on stage, they feel like the magician. They feel like they are the most important person in the room because at that moment, they are. Because they are the ones that determine whether or not you get paid again and whether or not you get invited back.